Good evening. Thank you. Good evening, Mr. and Mrs. Burlington, and welcome to this, our 78th edition of Burlington and Beyond. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, as we are yet relatively new, we're a panel of Burlingtonians, all rather seasoned Burlingtonians, who have come together to create this forum because of common concerns with government and public welfare at all levels of government. Our message is not only to help cast light on issues here in Burlington, but at the state and national levels as well. I am reading this because it was the exact entrance that we used on our very first show, 78 shows ago, or 77 shows ago. I just want to conclude with this. It is our common contention that a large measure of the possible solution to our many problems at all levels of government is the dire need for our citizenry, that is you, to become more involved in government, to heighten your awareness of issues. That's why we're here, to help you, and to speak out on those issues. With that, I want to repeat, I welcome you very much on this, our annual Christmas show. And most important, I want to bring my dear friend Larry Way into the program. We're going to be sort of doing a little bit of a review of what took place during the year and maybe ease into what we might expect. And by the way, there is, we were told to reserve a seat, and we have. We don't know exactly who it's for. Someone who called the show and said they wanted a seat with us tonight. So we've set the seat aside, reserved, and hopefully we'll find out somewhere along the way who the guest is going to be. It's always fun to find or to be able to entertain someone who is new to our panel. Larry, how are you this evening?
Well, very good, Pat. I thank you for asking. And to think about it, it's been quite a year. Personally, things have gotten a little bit better, a little more difficult, but a little bit better.
Yeah.
And of course, things are always a challenge health-wise.
Yeah.
But even that is getting better also,
Yeah.
as we speak. I think the town, and by the way, another thing is, most of us on the show are town meeting members.
Yes.
We're definitely all part of the Burlington Town Republican Committee. And so if there's anybody who has an interest in joining us or wanting
Very
to
good.
stop by at a meeting,
Yeah.
please contact myself, Larry Way, or Pat.
Contact me, Pat Marino. We're both here in the town. We're listed on the telephone book, so we'd love to have you come.
And we're listed on the website as members of town meeting.
Yep.
So please do contact us. We hope to hear from many of you.
What do you, just looking back a little bit, spending a few minutes looking at how far along we've come, there have been a lot of changes, not the least of which is the election of a new president. But starting at the national level, how do you feel about some of the things that have taken place under Mr. Trump? What do you think?
Well, would you mind if I just start at the lower level? Because
Sure.
I think we can get those done
Okay.
quicker.
All right.
I don't think there's been much change in the town of Burlington. I think we're pretty much the same town that we were a year ago. Maybe we have a few issues coming on. I'm kind of excited about a new zoning bylaw review committee that'll be formed to start looking over our bylaws, which have not been looked over since the inception, since the 70s. Nobody's done a thorough review. And consequently, Pat, a lot of the builders happen to know our own zoning bylaws better
Right.
than we do
Better
and
than
know
we
where
do.
to take advantage of it. So it would behoove somebody to want to be on that committee to start reviewing our bylaws, because we're not covering electronic billboards. You know,
Right.
that didn't happen in the 70s. It's now part of it, so it's certainly time to update, and that's part of what I'm excited about in the near future. Hasn't quite happened yet. So in general, I think we're on course. We're continuing to expand as a town, expand our services.
I
I don't totally like the additional tax revenues that's being asked for every year. I kind of wish we could have a tax break. Let's have 1 year we don't have any
Yeah,
taxes.
you're right. We've had now, what, 4 or 5 years in a row where we've had an increase in the taxes.
I'm glad we're covering a lot of people's needs, and I'm also so glad to be part of helping to meet people's needs.
Yeah.
Just today, I ran some presents from the Wish Tree group through Youth and Family Services to people who were looking for some assistance through that. Well, today I got to play Santa Claus and deliver some presents to a needy family.
Good for you.
And that was great. The way we're helping out with the food bank,
Yeah.
delivering food, I think
Yeah.
is wonderful. I think all of us town Republicans enjoy doing that. And
We have been doing this now for how many years? No,
3 or 4.
it's 3 or 4 years at least, yeah, that we have been supplying the food bank with food, going into Boston to pick up the food and delivering it twice, 3 times a year.
Yeah, and as a committee, we've also made donations to charitable foundations, people helping people, etc. So I like who we are. I like what we're doing. I like how we're helping the town. But I don't think we've seen many changes at the town level. I think we're pretty much the same. We have a lot of interest on the part of the business community to move to Burlington and expand. So that's good. That's been happening, I think, for a while. I think that's why we missed a lot of the Obama recession, just because of our location.
Very much so.
With all the schools, high tech, people want to be in this location.
Yeah. You can see it also in the number of people who have moved to Burlington and built big homes in Burlington. So there is a desire out there to be part of the Burlington experience, which I think is good. I do agree with regard to the taxes. It has been, whatever, 5, 6 years consistent. There has been an increase. However, we still are in good stead overall. We still are receiving the services. So I think that is good. It is my hope, as well as Larry's, that we will see a break somewhere along the way where the taxes will stay put the way they are now and not increase. There's a lot of revenue coming in. There are a lot of new businesses. Even this past year, there have been at least two or three businesses that have opened. I don't know if there are any more that are coming down the pike. And I often wonder about what's going to happen when we've filled all of the commercial space that we possibly can. The new hotel is about ready to open, I think. And I'm sure there are some there.
With another hotel in the works.
With another one.
On, by 3rd Avenue. Yeah, so I think we've been on a steady growth pattern.
Yeah.
And I just don't think since we're getting more revenue, I would kind of disagree with the administration's guideline for this next year. And they want to be able to raise taxes by 5%. 5%. I felt that was too much. I could not vote for that on Ways and Means. I hope we don't have to do that. Where we took in $12 million additional funds, they already have plans to spend all that $12 million.
Is this something that's being bandied about now?
This was in front of the Ways and Means Committee, my last meeting.
Okay.
$12 million surplus, but still they plan to spend all of that on buildings and warrant articles, renovations, yes, some of which are needed. But something we should take a look at, because we're getting $12 million extra. Why do they need another 5% increase in our taxes, where a lot of us are in fixed incomes?
Right.
We don't get 5% increases.
Right.
So I think the town is taking much more of a bite, and I really hope we can move to wherever we can with volunteers or other ways to raise revenue.
1-2% in the recent past has been difficult. 5% is. I hope not. I agree with you. I hope not. I hope it isn't. At any rate, in general.
So that's in general where we are at the town. We're about at the same place as we were last year. I would say that, let's go to the next level, the state.
Yeah, how about the state?
I think we're somewhat the same there. I think things are beginning to change a little bit. Now, first of all, there are some House and Senate state Republicans that are winning. They're winning seats, more so than in the past. Now, that's not a huge change. But also something's happening to the Republican Party. Not everybody is following Governor Baker. We've had two major candidates for U.S. Senate in the Republican Party leaving the state Republican Party because they felt that the state party was not giving them anything, but they were pulling the party along, and they were going off of their popularity.
Yeah.
And that would be Alan Waters, which was our first guest of this year.
He's going to be joining us.
That's right. He's going to be joining us again the first of this next year, and we do want to ask him why he felt he needed to drop out of the Republican Party.
Right.
And what were the advantages? How's he doing?
Yeah. And then there was Shiva
Ayyadurai.
Yeah.
And I was very interested in his health care proposals.
Yeah.
Radically different.
Yeah.
Much more would be covered, but there'd be much more considered medicine that currently is not allowed.
Yeah.
Right now, we're pretty much a drug and surgery type healthcare system. But there are other ways to get whole. There are other things to look at for the health.
How do you feel about the a bit of a condemnation on Baker, Governor Baker, with regard to his stance with respect to the new president? He was indifferent at best, opposed to him in some instances, and I'm not sure of what his stance is on sanctuary cities, but that is an issue that has surfaced even locally. And
it looks like he may need to make a decision on it, because I think the Democrats in the House and Senate are in favor of this measure, including our own representative.
Including our own representative, Kenneth Gordon, right, who is very much in favor of putting Burlington on a sanctuary city basis, which I cannot accept. I just don't think that Burlington can do better by making it a sanctuary city. I have to wonder if he's being pressured or if this is his own idea. I'm anxious to meet with him. If you're watching, Representative Gordon, as a matter of fact, I think that Larry and I may be in accord to offer an invitation for you to come on and explain to us why you feel sanctuary city is important for Burlington. But anyway,
to get back to our topic of the night, you know, the changes, I think that will bring about a major change for Massachusetts, very significant. I think the Senate race could also bring about some changes, because there's an awful lot of Democrats that are not happy with the current Senator Warren. And again, this is just hanging around students at MIT. They spoke of a lot of displeasure with her.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, so that's kind of surprised me. And if she is actually losing some student vote, then she'll have a very tough time winning election.
Do you think, you know, we've had Mr. Deal, Jeff Deal, on the program. As a matter of fact, we hope to have him back along with a whole list of other people. But he is, I have a feeling that he's coming on stronger than we had initially anticipated. I know he's done a lot of programming, he's done a lot of advertising, a lot of mailings, so you know, he's known. How do you feel about him?
Well, I think he's very well established now, because we've had two major candidates drop out.
Right.
And that kind of leaves Jeff Deal in the forefront.
Yeah.
The others I don't think are well known enough or not established enough in the field of Republican politics. In order to get on the ballot, you have to get at least 15% of the Republicans at the convention, and that's in April. And if you can't get that 15%, you don't get on the primary ballot.
Okay.
And not enough people know who these other persons are who are running.
You've heard of Kingston?
Yeah, well, I just kind of met him at a speech, but he was very generic, was not specific. and I went to his website and I couldn't see a thing that he stood for. He didn't say anything that he stood for.
Yeah.
So maybe it's been updated since a month ago when I last checked.
He's had one or two mailings. I am not impressed with what I have heard about him. I really think that Jeff Deal is probably the one with the greatest amount of firepower at this point in the process, and I personally intend to support him, and I hope there are other people out there who will look into his record and what he stands for. He is a conservative. He's a strong conservative, and I think we need strong conservative measures here in Massachusetts. I can point to the pay raise of the both the House and the Senate recently, which was something like a 20% increase in pay, and it went through unopposed. I can point to Governor Baker trying to balance the budget, had taken 1% of just about every issue. We were right up and down the board, took only 1% from all of the allocated funds in every department in order to balance the budget, and the Democrats came back and canceled all of them, spent the money. So we have, at this time, where we have a debt. We have a debt, and it worries me, much like the national debt. At any rate, do you think this is going to be a good year at the state level for conservatives?
You mean at the ballot?
Yeah.
For next year?
Yeah.
That is about a year away. I think there's a possibility. But again, I'm just a little uncomfortable with some of the more popular candidates having left, the stronger candidates, ones with a real message. The ones that I think had a very good chance. Now, another candidate I don't want to leave out would be Heidi Wellman.
Oh, yes.
She appears to be making inroads with conservatives and with women. She's pro-Second Amendment, pro-First Amendment, pro-10th Amendment, 9th Amendment. So she knows her Constitution very well.
She's well versed on all of the issues. She was another one of our guests, if you had missed that show, and she may well be back with us in the new year. A lot of great programs coming up in the new year.
Very possibly. Maybe if we have a program with Heidi Wellman and Jeff Deal, maybe they could split the show. We could get a cross-section of their views. Because I also need to know a little bit more about Jeff Deal. I'm comfortable with what I don't know about him at this point.
Okay.
I'd love to ask him some questions.
Yep.
I think, to get back to our theme of changes in this year, I think where the real change has come, and I think you'd probably agree with me, that it's really come at the national level.
Yes.
This was such a huge change in presidency. Everybody knows that. But the amount of changes that Trump was able to accomplish is just amazing. I just wrote down a few here. But here's like 10, 13. I just cut off because of lack of time. But these are terrific. I'm assuming the vote in the Senate's going to go well for Trump at this point. But he's cut corporate taxes and individual taxes. He's repealed the Obamacare individual mandate. He's appointed a highly respected conservative to the Supreme Court. He appointed a one-year record number of judges to the circuit courts. Now that's going to bode well also for a lot of these,
many different ways, yeah.
And a lot of these nonsense lawsuits, like the president can't make rulings and can make the law as far as what immigration is. It'll get rid of a lot of those, and we'll get back to some sound governing, I believe.
This next one, I think is wonderful. It's just, it has
he got rid
so
of
much meaning. Go ahead.
Reams of unnecessary regulations to where businesses are coming back. Mm-hmm. They didn't need to wait for the tax cut. Seeing these regulations all that were rolled back, now they want to come back because they were realizing these regulations were in part there to make them want to leave.
Exactly.
And that seemed
We've seen it in the stock market too. It's going crazy. Stock market has been up and up. That's confidence in the economy.
Record territories.
Yeah. He's destroyed, this is President Trump, he's destroyed ISIS. He's approved the pipeline project that was inactive for so many years out west, and new oil drilling, which is all part of the economy that we desperately needed. Under Obama, we stayed at, 1% increase in the economy.
GDP, yeah, 1%.
GDP, right.
Every year.
Yeah, now we're up to 3% or around about 3%. And President Trump is very, very strong on increasing that, and I'm sure he will. I don't know about the wall. Have they actually started something on the wall, or is it?
They did put in the prototypes.
Okay.
So they are deciding which one. I don't think there's a big hurry because I think we'll need a little bit more of a change in Congress before he's going to be able to get that funded. Now, again, I think there's some creative things like putting solar panels on that wall, which will make it so that it'll be self-funding. And if a project doesn't cost anything, does Congress need to approve it if it's not going to cost them anything?
Oh.
That'll be interesting to look into. And also, money for that wall was approved back in 1999, but was never used. The Clinton administration decided not to use it, even though it had been approved.
At least there's strong discussion on it. I love the idea of putting solar panels on it. I'd never thought of that. That is so in time it could pay for itself.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's really terrific. The growth rate of the economy we mentioned, unemployment is significantly lower.
And also the fact that illegal immigration is way down also.
Yes, very much. I think that's a terrific benefit. It really is.
Now, you know, a lot of people are really afraid of some of Trump's successes in the immigration policy. Now, the fact is we do have immigration policy, so we're just talking about illegal immigration. And when it's illegal immigration and we can't, and people can't really let them know that they're around, you know, because they're illegal, it's better to always have, whoever we invite in, let's make it legal. Let's find something that works for America, that works for this state, every state, rather than the disagreements between the sanctuary cities and, you know, sending them back to their original homeland.
There is a proposal by our state representative, if you have not been made aware of it, to support a sanctuary city here in Burlington, which I think is probably the worst possible idea that he could have put forth.
I think let's just finish this off and let's just get a little bit to 2018. Okay?
Sure, go ahead.
And our predictions. The fact that he's pulled out of a lot of illegal trade deals, unfair and illegal trade deals. That's the Paris Accords, where we were to pay companies to move out of the United States into countries that we would pay the countries money to take our companies. You know, you needed to have someone like Obama in there to push that type of a deal.
Go ahead.
He was for deindustrializing this country. We had way too much and wanted that totally dispersed. And then also, it said over 4,000, that was November figure, have been arrested for human trafficking and pedophilia. So that's amazing. The fact that that was not paid attention to, it was kept quiet. Looking forward to 2018, do you see any changes, or what? Can you make any predictions as far as what might happen?
I can't make any specific predictions, but I think that one, when the tax code, the new tax program is put into a place, I see a lot of advertising that Mr. Trump is not as popular as he was when he was elected. I can't tell if it is because the media, without any doubt whatsoever, is very, very biased against Mr. Trump. Are they actually recording or reporting what is true, or are they coloring it the way they want? My personal feeling is that when the taxes are put in place, that it's going to generate untold amounts of new business, that new business, all of those monies, the taxes that come in will increase dramatically. And it is my hope that some of those monies are used to pay off the national debt, which worries me. Ever since Mr. Obama increased the debt by, I don't know, 60, 70%, we got up to the $20 trillion mark. I'm worried about that, and I'm sure that a lot of other people are worried about it. So I would like to see a program whereby there's an effort to pay some of that off.
I think that's going to happen. Did you know that Trump has started the first audit of the Pentagon?
That's terrific.
$17 trillion were missing. On top of that, 44,000 people are missing.
How can they possibly?
They're sending out paychecks, but they don't know where they're going. They don't know if they're going to the right people. They're not going to know if they're going to dead people or alive.
This is another reason that we have to be grateful for Trump.
This is why I'm hopeful.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing is, I think we have a divided government. People want to get rid of Trump. They want to impeach him. They want to say his presidency was illegal. Many of them want to kill him. I think he's had 3 attempts on his life so far this year. The fact that he survived that. So I say next year, there's going to have to be a change. Either people will need to be, he'll need to round up some of these people trying to get rid of him, or they're going to get rid of Trump. So one of the two will happen in 2018.
I think that when people begin to see things turning around, dramatically turning around because of his policies in 2018, I think you're going to see a lot more people supporting what he is standing for. Obama was a globalist, and every single policy under globalism does not benefit America.
I'm not sure
despite what you hear.
I'm not sure if he was a globalist or an anti-Americanist.
I think he was a globalist who had hopes of being part of a worldwide government. I just feel that way. I can't prove it, obviously.
So I think there's going to be a lot of jousting. I think there's going to be many arrests.
Yeah.
Because again, he cannot survive. Trump cannot survive unless he takes care of many of these people that are trying to get rid of him.
Right.
And either that or he's going to be gotten rid of, one way or the other. And the other thing is, I think with the economy, they may need to start taking down parts of that wall. They're going to need the immigration. What do you hear? What's this?
What is? What's
Our
up?
guest
What's up?
is-
Oh, look at
Our guest has arrived.
our guest. You didn't tell us
Welcome.
that you were coming, Santa.
How are you?
Hey, welcome.
Great to
How are
see
you?
you. Very well.
Were you
thank
in the area?
I
Is
was
that?
just swinging by.
And you told the program director to
Yes.
put up a reserve sign
I
for
said-
you? My
Said,
goodness.
Save me a seat.
Yeah.
my friends
Well,
Pat and
welcome,
Larry.
welcome, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, happy holidays.
How are things with you?
Things are going very well. As you know, this is crunch time. It's very busy. Less than a week until Christmas.
Where have you been?
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. Specifically around town, the malls, the department stores. Checking to make sure everyone's doing all right.
Yeah. Where's your crew? Is outside?
Cruise
Your-
outside. Yep.
Yeah. Are
Just
they
cruise in the parking lot.
just give them a break, a little bit of a rest?
Yeah, I gave him a little break.
Yeah. You've been working like crazy.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, this is the busy season, you know.
Yeah.
You do look
Yeah.
tired.
I am a little bit tired. Well, you know, I'm a man of Christmas, and
Yeah.
it is the Christmas season, so
Yeah.
I don't get a vacation until the 26th.
Why don't we see you in the middle of the summer?
Because I'm on
You're
vacation.
sleeping, or you're fishing, or you.
I'm on a nice beach in Hawaii relaxing before I have to get into the high gear for the holidays.
So yeah, just to get ready, physically ready to
Yeah.
take on a season.
I take
Okay.
vacation from March until end
Yeah.
of June.
Okay.
And then once 4th of July hits, then I'm back into working mode.
Yeah. What do you think? We were just talking about the ups and downs of government at the local level, state. You know, I know you're not a politician. You don't want to be. We don't want you to be a politician.
Thank you.
But do you think 2018 is going to be a pretty good year?
I think 2018 is going to be a great year. I think everyone realizes what needs to change and what needs to stay the same.
Mhm.
And I think with that information going forward, I think everyone will, hopefully build towards a better tomorrow
Yeah.
for 2018.
Do you still have more stops to do in Burlington?
Not tonight.
Not tonight.
Not tonight, no.
Okay.
But
there are more that
there are
you
more
get
stops,
to.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've been very busy around town. I've been to BCAT quite a few times.
Yeah.
I was
They're a terrific crew.
They
at
absolutely
BCAT.
are.
They really are wonderful. Everyone, all the entire staff. Every time we've been here, they've been extremely
Oh,
helpful.
they're the best. They
Yeah.
really are.
So if you have gifts for them, make sure they get them.
They're taken care of. I promise you that.
Okay.
Good to hear.
Okay.
Good to hear. So, could I ask, how are the kids this year
The kids
compared
are good
to
this year.
last year?
Compared to last year, I think there was the whole stereotype that 2016 was a very rough year for everyone, and I think going into 2017, everyone made a promise to do a little better this year, and I think we definitely did. Certainly a lot of ups and downs, as you know, but I think overall the kids were really good this year, and the adults.
So that means your stash of toys is going to be extra large.
It
About
gets
10%
larger and
larger?
larger.
Wow.
It gets heavier and heavier. The kids don't ask for rocking horses and Jack in the Boxes anymore. It's all video game systems now, and you got to get on like a contract with Apple to give those to the kids.
Do you think that's all good stuff?
I think so.
Yeah, but
Santa was never a video gamer, but he gets it.
No, but in my day, the kid who was outside, with a baseball bat, with a roller skates, with a bicycle, spent a lot of time. I don't see as much of that,
Yeah.
and I always worry about kids being glued to a television set, glued to a computer screen.
Or their
They
iPhone.
do need their physical activity.
Well, if their list says they want a Netflix subscription, I tend to ignore that. If mom and dad want to get that, that's fine.
Okay.
But no, I think it's good for kids to get out and stuff.
Yeah.
I really like it when I see, like a sled on the list or a soccer
Baseball
ball,
bat.
baseball or something. That's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
It's good to get out into the real world
Yeah,
once in
yeah.
a while.
Are people receptive when you do you run into a lot of people? Are they generally receptive? I'm sure Santa Claus has always been
Yeah.
But do you find things left for you?
Oh yeah, I mean they leave the cookies, the milk, the carrots for the reindeer. Never leave too many carrots for the reindeer. It's a long journey. Not a lot of bathroom breaks. But they do good. They do good.
Yeah.
And I still get the letters, as you know, which is nice.
Yeah.
Santa still doesn't have an email yet.
Yeah.
We're working on that up there. Wi-Fi's tough in the North Pole.
I heard an advertisement, and I can't remember what it was for, but they mentioned that Santa was always very fresh because he slept during the season. Do you get plenty of rest in the off season?
Yeah, I take a vacation from March to the end of June, so that's nice.
By the seashore?
By the seashore,
Yeah. Yeah.
Depends.
And then
Hawaii,
yeah.
the Cape,
Yeah.
whatever's nice. I try to keep it low key because I do have a bit of a celebrity status.
Tell us more about the kids. What would be the more popular toys this year?
It's video games. This thing called the Nintendo Switch. I've never seen it, but everyone's asking for it. The elves and Mrs. Claus say they've got it under control, so that's fine with me. But yeah, it's mostly video games and stuff, and iPods and laptops. Kids have gotten a lot more tech savvy these days.
Wow.
How
What
is
are the-
Mrs. Claus?
She's good. She's doing very well.
She must be getting up there in age now.
Yeah, let's not talk about that on TV.
Okay.
I do need somewhere to sleep tonight.
How about of the older type gifts, the bicycles, the sleds? Even I think you could even put rollerblades. They've been out there for a long time in sports. How about those older type of gifts that have been around in various forms? What would be more popular gifts on that front?
I think bikes have never gone out of style. I definitely see a lot of bikes. Skateboards, not so much anymore. Rollerblades. I think if anyone wants to go rollerblade, they go to the roller rink. I think there's roller rinks still around these
Yeah.
days.
Yeah, there are.
In the
Yeah.
center.
Yeah.
For a while, there was these shoes that had the wheels built in them, and you can just like,
Yep.
click your heel,
Yep.
and then the wheels would come
Yep.
out.
Yep.
That was a crazy year.
I see a lot of dirt bikes.
Yep, dirt bikes. Yep.
You know.
It all depends on
Yeah.
what the Olympics are.
That's tough to deliver.
Yeah.
Dirt bikes. Yeah. Your sleigh is pretty big. I mean, is it when you're loaded initially? Is it a tough haul for the reindeer?
Well, I have 8 deer power,
Yeah.
so
8 deer power.
so they get the job done. It's pretty big. It handles a lot.
No, but I mean, they must labor at it. Up and away is got to be tough, especially.
It's tough, but they're training on a constant basis.
Yeah. Do you feed them well?
I do feed them well. Carrots, oats, hay, the
Carrots,
standard stuff.
hay, yeah.
Yeah, nothing bad in their diets.
Yeah.
I need they're on their A game 24/7.
And do do you let them rest when you finally get back after everything is delivered?
Oh, sure.
Give
Absolutely.
them some time off.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say from January until March, they're just
They just
putting around the North Pole,
Yeah.
relaxing, doing what they
Yeah.
need to do.
Yeah.
Let's get back to
That's
the
great.
kids again.
Mm-hmm.
Again, how are we doing well in school? Are kids doing well? Let's just pay attention to Burlington, what Burlington could make versus the rest of the country. But tell us a little bit more about our town and the kids in it.
I think the town of Burlington is doing very well. Fortunately, I was also on a guest of the high school kids show a couple
Oh.
weeks ago,
Oh,
and they're a very good, hardworking group.
you really get around.
I do. As I said, I've been here a few times because I love BCAT. But the kids at the high school, at least the ones that I worked with here, are doing very good. They're dedicated. They're always polishing their craft. And from what I can tell, they're not just committed to BCAT. A lot of them have outside jobs. Some of them are honor students. Other organizations, they're dedicated, they're committed, and they're on top of everything. It's
Are any
amazing.
of them complaining about the 1 hour change?
Well, Santa doesn't want to.
Comment on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
All
right, I
Santa will
understand.
say is just because you have an extra hour, don't stay up later. Get
Okay.
your homework done.
Get your
and stay
homework done.
responsible.
Okay.
Or else these delayed start times are going to come back and get you kids.
Yeah.
Good motivation.
Mm-hmm.
I
But
would
do-
like to see you 1 year with Mrs. Claus. She doesn't want to travel at all.
Mrs. Claus is a little camera shy.
Yeah.
But- I don't know. Maybe next year we'll see.
Yeah. It would be nice to see. I mean, I would think it's nice to take her out once.
No,
to-
I'd
to
take
see-
her out.
Because I'm sure when you get back, you tell her about the people that you've met and the
Oh, yeah.
kids that you've met.
She loves hearing about all the kids and adults I meet.
Mm,
She's just very camera shy.
yeah.
But maybe next year we can convince her.
Or maybe a
That would be my
extrovert-
personal wish.
maybe an extroverted elf if the missus can't make it.
Yeah, we have plenty of elves that love being on the camera, so maybe
Do
we can
elves-
find an elf.
Do elves get to take a look or a sneak peek at the kids' report cards?
Good question.
I do. When I am checking my list twice, I ask the elves in R&D. I'm like, hey, can you just check on so and so? How are their grades doing? And that's how I check.
Okay.
I have to
Ins-
check on schoolwork. I have to check on behavior, how they're doing with their parents and stuff.
So schoolwork is important to Santa's
Schoolwork
evaluation.
is very important. I mean, I didn't become Santa just because I had a white beard at the age of 3. I had to go to school for it.
You had to go to school.
I had to
for
go to
it.
school for it, yeah.
Yeah. So what if you do have a character a young character, a young girl or boy who is not behaving? Do you find a way to other than coal in their stocking, or
Well,
do you leave a note or maybe or
we've kind of tried to steer away from the coal these past few years. I think that's sort of has gotten a negative connotation over the
Yeah.
years. So not so much that anymore. If they're really bad, maybe some things that were on the list won't show up under the tree.
okay?
And maybe just a little note like, maybe next Christmas,
Yeah.
do a little
Yeah.
better.
Do you get a lot of letters?
I do get a lot of letters.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
post office over the North Pole is always busy.
Really?
Yes, very busy.
And you
Maybe-
get a chance to look at most of them, or
That's
some?
why I start in July.
Wow.
Maybe next year you could bring some samples of letters from
That would be
kids
great.
from Burlington.
Yes, I should do that. And just for the record, you know, I'm starting in July. Don't wait till December to send your list. I'll read it right in July.
Good.
You could even send me 2 lists for next year.
Good
and help me
instructions.
sort it out.
I am always amazed. I can't, you know, ever since I was a kid, and that was a long time ago, but I'm always amazed at how you are able to satisfy so many kids that are good, the good ones, and to be able to get around to all of them.
Well,
That is something that you should be very, very proud of.
Well, thank you very much. I enjoy what I do.
Yeah.
And, you
Yeah.
know,
Do you ever find a chimney that is, you know, extra difficult to get down?
You know,
Kim?
sometimes I reply back to the letters and say, can you just leave a key in the back? You know, Santa isn't as young as
great idea.
isn't as young or as fit as he used to be. So just let me come through the back
Leave
door.
the key in the mailbox.
Santa's not in his Olympic medal days anymore.
Or maybe you could just send them a letter saying, or you know, to go to this email address and download your gifts if you can't get
Yeah,
them.
I could do the drone. I heard Amazon does drones that might deliver presents, and
Oh,
don't know.
that's an interesting issue.
it's
Is-
interesting, but
are
to me it's just impersonal.
Are you gonna?
I like bringing them
would
myself.
you use drones?
I don't. I mean,
I think you know I think the kids want to see Santa. They
I
don't wanna
like
see
the
a drone.
personal touch.
Yeah,
So I think I'll keep delivering
yeah,
by hand.
yeah. Let the drones deliver pizzas.
Yeah.
You know, God, it's so important to see you in your uniform. It impresses me, and I'm sure it impresses any kid that
Thank you.
that you happen to see.
Mrs. Claus made this for me.
She did a good job.
She does very good work.
She does. She evidently does a lot of work. She must keep busy.
Behind every great Santa Claus is an even greater Mrs. Claus.
Mrs. Claus. Okay. How do you reward her? Do you give her time off? Do you? Cook
She
for
goes
her?
on that vacation with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, you know, I cook for her.
Yeah.
I take her to the movies and stuff.
Uh,
You know, I do all the good husband stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's terrific.
Let's tell the kids also what your favorite food is. When you
I
come
go
down
the
the
obvious
chimney,
milk and cookies.
what type of cookies? Favorite?
Chocolate chip. Brand specific.
No, that's good.
Okay.
You like hard or soft cookies? Or
I like soft.
wow.
Yeah. If it gets too hard, then it gets crummy, and then, you know, crumbs in the beard.
I gotta
You don't want a
put-
picture with a Santa with a beard full of crumbs.
Do you ever share any of your cookies with the reindeer?
It does not agree with the reindeer. I do not give them the cookies.
They eat strictly carrots?
Strictly carrots.
No kidding.
You can leave out some water for them.
Yeah.
They always appreciate the water.
Yeah. Yeah.
Carrot cake?
You know, I haven't tried it yet. If there's a brave soul out there who wants to leave Santa some carrot cake for the reindeer this year, by all means.
Carrot cake is delicious.
They
I
just
love
have to
carrot cake.
specify for the reindeer.
Yes, for the reindeer, not for Santa. Santa will take his milk and cookies as usual.
So the kids in Burlington are. Oh, by the way, how do you feel for about the? Did we ask him about the hour difference? Do you think that's going to affect the kids in any way, or?
I think, and from the kids that I've interacted with in Burlington who are very dedicated and hardworking, I think they will be able to make it work.
Mhm.
They just have to stay on top of their school studies and on top of their responsibilities. And I think at the same time, the teachers also need to help them along as well, because that
Yeah.
is the role of the teacher, to help the student.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think we'll be in good shape.
Yeah, I think by the time you get to be you know, maybe for freshmen it might be a little bit difficult, but when you get to be a sophomore, you're a young person, you're a young adult, and I think you should be able to
Yes.
handle that pretty well.
Right. And then
Um,
junior and senior year, that's when you start thinking about the next
Yeah.
step, college and
Yeah.
life after high school.
Do you ever, you know, do you recognize some of the kids who have graduated? You know, when you visit universities or some of the towns.
Oh, sure,
Do you
yeah.
recognize them?
You
know,
don't-
when they were. I
Just
remember
because you turn
when
18
were
doesn't mean
10.
you get off the list. You're still on the list.
You're still on the list. That
You're on the
must
list
be
for
some
life.
list.
Yeah, it's an extensive list.
Yeah, it has to be. My
It's
God.
more of an archive at this point.
No. What do you do for relaxation besides the water? Anything? I mean, do you just like to put your feet up? Do you
I
have
put
a
my
pipe?
feet up. I read. I like to watch TV.
Okay.
Santa's got a nice Netflix account that he enjoys.
Okay.
Do you ice skate?
I've tried. It hasn't worked out too well for Santa.
Any snowmobiling or well,
Snowmobiling. Santa tried snowmobiling once.
But when you have a sleigh, that sounds like it's more that'd rock more than snowmobile.
See, with the snowmobiling, it's not the reindeer controlling; it's Santa controlling, and it's a bit more challenging. But I've tried it a few times.
Skiing?
Skiing. Have you ever seen that old cartoon where Goofy tries to ski? It's a little bit like that.
Yeah. Yes, I have seen it. I know what you're talking about.
I love the snow. I'm not a great snow sportsman,
Mm-hmm.
but I love the scenery up there.
Well, you were born with the snow. I mean, you were.
Yeah.
I mean, your snow is your natural home.
I know.
Speaking of your home, is it like an igloo, or do you have a?
No,
is it a
it's
building
a
that's
cottage.
built, or
It's a cottage, a
a
workshop.
cottage? Yeah,
The-
with a big stove. Keep
Yeah,
warm,
big nice stove.
And a workshop next door for
Workshop
the
next
elves?
door. Yep.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Keep all of it nice and warm so that they can work through the. And when you're on vacation, do you leave them producing toys and whatnot?
The elves have their duties, but it's light work. Because
Okay.
in March we don't have to worry too much about toys.
Yeah.
It's mostly research. What's
Yeah.
popular right now?
Yeah.
What shows are they watching? What movies are they watching? What superheroes are they interested in? What video games they want to play? We sort of keep a list of what's popular for the year, and then when it comes time to prepare, it's like, okay, we might need a lot more Wonder Woman action figures. We might need more Spider-Man action figures, like that.
These toys are becoming very technical.
They are.
A lot of them. You must have to read quite a bit to keep up with knowing what age for this one and what age for that toy. It's got to keep you on your toes.
We're always on our toes. We're trying to keep up to date on how everything works and what these kids are learning and stuff, so we can meet their needs on Christmas, basically.
Yeah.
So it's nice that the companies like Apple and Toys R Us and Nintendo,
Yeah.
they come up here, they give us little presentations on how this stuff works so that we
Oh.
can make it on our own. It's nice.
Wow. I didn't realize that. That's a big help.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you ever have a chance to sit in? Do you ever? I can't read it.
Sorry, I got it.
Do you ever have a chance to sit and bring young people in?
To the workshop?
Yeah.
Not too many young people have seen the workshop. Try not to let paparazzi up north too much. Santa does have a bit of a
So
celebrity
your
status. I
your
don't wanna
mission is pretty much exclusively not exclusively, but pretty much on the road.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Who
Pat,
takes care of? Go ahead.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Is there any memorable gift that Santa has left you when you were a kid that you can remember?
You're talking about quite a while ago now.
It was, but some gifts are
Yeah,
memorable.
in
The
terms
bicycle,
in terms of toys, I believe it was the first football Santa left me. The first one, we played a lot of street football when I was a kid. We would go out into the street, and there'd be 6 or 7 or 8 of us, and we always threw around anything that we had, whether it was something that we improvised. But as I recall, you left me. I don't know if you remember, but you did leave me a football. I had requested it. I begged.
Well, I remember.
begged.
It
You
was on
do?
a few of your letters, and I knew I needed to get you that football.
Yeah, I was very, very grateful. We felt like we were really professional. Now we had a real football for the first time.
Well, that was my hope, that you could start to feel like a real Tom Brady out there.
Well, I don't know about a Tom
Well,
Brady,
you're
but
getting there. You just got to keep practicing.
well, I keep practicing. I don't know. Those days are gone. But I'll try.
You're as
I'll
young as
try.
you feel.
I'll get out. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Now,
And look at me. I'm up there. I'm traveling the
You
world in
you
one
are
night.
ageless.
I know. Well,
You
trade
are
secret.
ageless. I mean, and your beard is just wonderful.
Oh,
I don't know how you manage.
I don't know either. I've had this since I was like 7.
Wow. Well,
Wow.
well, Santa, that sounds like a wonderful gift for Pat.
How about you?
Keeping in line with keeping the kids active.
Yeah.
A football where they can go outside, where they can do something with their neighbors, as opposed to just sitting in front of the computer or Xbox.
Exactly. I think
That's perfect. That gets them up and running, moving.
There's nothing better than
Basketball, same thing.
face-to-face interaction.
yeah.
You know, we do so much interacting over our phones and over the screens. It's nice to get out and meet your fellow man, which is why I'm here tonight.
What's your
we appreciate
diet
it.
like, Santa?
Oh, it's not very good. You know how many milk
Too
and
many
cookies?
sweets,
You know how
or-
many milk and cookies I eat in one night every year? I try to keep it, you know, a little
You don't
check.
like any vegetables?
Well, I try.
You try.
Yeah, I mean,
But when it comes
I
to
have an image to uphold. Santa's got a bowl full of jelly,
yeah,
and as the old
So
Rudolph
you
special said,
make
whoever
sure
heard
you
of
feed it. Yeah. Yeah.
as the Rudolph special
Yeah.
said, whoever heard of a skinny Santa? So
Are these things that Mrs. Santa cooks and bakes for you, or
yes, she does all my cooking, all my baking.
yeah?
Yeah.
She must be quite a lady.
She
That's,
is.
That's terrific. And what's her relationship with the elves? She looks after them while you're away.
Yeah,
too?
she's almost the maternal figure of the workshop.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all our elves are like a family.
How
to
long
us.
have you been married with her?
Oh boy, you gonna ask
Century?
me that on camera? Yeah, it's up there. It's definitely up there. 150 years.
Wow, like a newborn bride and groom, huh?
You know, it feels like just like yesterday we said our vows.
That's terrific.
Mm-hmm.
That's terrific. Do you have a chance to take her to the movies or out once in a while?
Oh
Something
sure,
new to-
definitely. You know, Santa's big on the Academy Awards, so we gotta keep up with what's being nominated and stuff for the awards. So we're in the
Oh,
know.
so you watch them?
Yeah.
You see the different movies that come out and
Yeah.
try to make an estimate. Yeah.
Mhm.
Gee,
See the
that's
ones
a-
that are getting all the attention.
You got a busy life.
I do.
You've got
But
a
I love it.
very busy life. I
I enjoy what I do.
I can't imagine keeping up with you. What do you think, Larry?
Well, I'd also be interested in, do you have any favorite stories that you've either seen kids, how they've grown from one year to the next, how they've become very good, you just want to give them an extra gift? Any special stories that you can think of over the course of the years?
So many off the top of my head.
There are quite a few kids, yes.
There are a lot of kids.
A lot of stories.
Not really a specific change over time, but I stopped by a family party, and the mother handed me the newborn baby for her first picture with Santa, and that just felt, you know, great to have that honor of holding that newborn baby. And she's adorable. I think she's still adorable to this day.
You should
Wow.
try to visit the people at BCAT in particular. They are terrific
They are
individuals.
terrific.
If
They
you
really
can,
are.
Don't forget them in any way. If
I
you
never
can.
do.
Yeah.
I'm here every year for them.
Okay.
We have a live show, and the kids come in on live TV. They get their picture taken with me. They tell me what they want for Christmas. I have a little wind-up gift for them. Mrs. Claus usually comes. This year I had.
I'd love to meet her, wouldn't you?
That'd be
Mrs.
fun. That'd be
Claus,
interesting.
yeah. Yeah, if you can, if she's up to it.
I'll work on it.
She's getting up in age too, I'm sure.
Yeah, but she's camera shy.
Yeah.
You know, Pat, it might also be interesting to have one of the elves because they're looking after the kids. They're
Right.
making the toys.
Yep.
They're making decisions on what to make. And they got to be up on all these things, not just the kids, but also what's out there.
Oh, I'd love
And
to
they
see
got to
'em.
start
Funny
production.
enough, Mrs. Claus usually does the BCAT show with me. This
Oh.
year she had to stay home and take care of the elves.
Oh.
So I had that Chris Flaherty kid be my head elf with me on the show.
He's a terrific young man.
Yeah, he's all right.
I really like him. He's always been extremely helpful here on the show, with helping us to put out all of our shows here on BCAT. They're just a terrific group of people. I'm very happy that you feel the same way, and I know that you'll take care of them as best you can.
Chris has been on the fence, so it's good to hear that. I'll take that into consideration.
I think Chris is a pretty good guy.
Yeah, he does all right.
You know what? We're nearing very, very close. I just want to. We're getting close to. We wanted to make an announcement, but most important, I just wanted to say, Santa, It is always a pleasure. I'm sorry that we only see you at the end of the year. You know,
I know.
wish if you have a chance to let us know. We'd love to have you come in.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Right before the busy season.
February's pretty quiet.
yeah, even February.
That's your vacation. That's we wouldn't
No,
want to take away from.
March starts in.
There we go.
February's
me-
like the staycation.
Let me just mention very quickly before our hour runs out that we, in the new year 2018, have a host of some wonderful guests like Santa who will be joining us, and we encourage you to watch the show, to tune in to see us every other Tuesday night, such as tonight. We love to hear from you. If you want to write to the studio and let us know about how you feel about the show. As I said, the next show is going to be our 79th
79th,
show. Can you
wow.
imagine that? Yeah. Santa, we're just about at the end of time. Did you want to say anything to the...
Just Santa, keep it up. Doing a great job. We thank you for taking care of the kids in the town and watching after them especially.
My pleasure. I love doing what I do. Thank you both for having me. Keep up the great work.
I will write you a personal letter.
All right. You're on the nice list.
Go ahead. Did you have something you want to
Yes, I did. I
That'd
had
be
a
great.
quote sent in. This is a very nice quote, and I like to read it every year. I don't have the author here, but it's a quote I love sharing with people. Santa Claus is anyone who loves another and seeks to make them happy, who gives himself by thought or word or deed in every gift that he bestows, who shares his joy with those who are sad, whose hand is never closed against the needy, whose arm is ever outstretched to aid the weak, whose sympathy is quick and genuine in time of trouble, who recognizes a comrade and brother in every man he meets upon life's common road, who lives his life throughout the entire year in the Christmas spirit. You
Bravo.
don't,
That
you
was
don't
wonderful,
need a
Santa.
beard and a red
Very,
suit
very,
to
very
make someone
nice.
have a Merry Christmas.
Next year, we want you to begin the show with that
Okay,
statement.
I'll leave it right there for next year.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
again.
you very much.
You're going to be back on the road.
Yeah, we gotta
Yeah.
get back up to the North Pole.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
thank you ever so much. Really, it's a delight to have you visit with us. I'm not sure where we are here in,
We'll just say
I'm
good
not
night to
sure.
them.
in town.
Good night,
Okay.
everybody. Thank
Good
you
night.
for joining
Good
us.
night, everyone. Merry Christmas,
Let's hear-
happy holiday.
we
Merry
need a
Christmas.
Ho, ho, ho.
Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas.
There we go. That makes our holiday.
Great job. Thank
Thank
you
you.
very
Thank
much. Yeah, terrific. Where did you find that?